My name is Brontë Renwick-Shields, and I'm running for chairperson of the UVSS.
Awesome. So why are you running for chairperson, just basically?
I've worked with UVSS this year as a research and communications officer, and I've noticed how many great resources the UVSS has, as well as how much good work the advocacy groups do at the Student Union building. And I really think that that needs to be expanded into the student body, and that students need to be aware of those resources, because there's so many impassioned students on campus that could really use those resources to further their pursuits. And right now, I feel like the student body isn't being encouraged to be included.
And how might you encourage that inclusion?
Well, right now I'm working as a volunteer coordinator and communications officer for the UVSS. So I work a lot with students, and I think the board of directors needs to be more within the student body, like attending events, needs to be more available to students. Like, I think office hours are a great idea so that we're always on campus at a certain time if students want to talk to us, as well as creating like teams for activities, like volunteer teams for campaigns. So like when, for say the needs-based grants, some individual could take that on and like make it their own passionate pursuit. So I think that's a really good idea. I think they're all great. I really hope they all pass. I'm working closely with CCG, the Campus Community Gardens. I'm their support worker on that referendum. So we're working to get that passed. And I think food security on campus is a big issue. I mean, obviously the food bank is being way overutilized. Like, there's not enough food for the amount of students that need access to it. And that referendum isn't even going to come at a cost to students. It's coming from the election funds. And so I think that that's a no-brainer. Like, food security for students should come at food security just for students is extremely important for their well-being, both mental and physical. And I think that the divestment campaign is something that I'm really passionate about. Two of our slate members are working with Divest UVic, Tristan and Nathan, and I've recently become involved in the campaign, and I really think that UVic promotes itself as a sustainability leader, yet has $30 million invested in fossil fuels. And I just want to make sure that that campaign is done in a way that doesn't negatively impact communities or scholarships, but I believe that it can be, and I totally support the referendum. I think that a large part of being chairperson is being a mediator between the different roles of the directors, and I think that I'm really good at listening and taking in and creating compromise between them, because I think that the board has to work together if it's going to create any kind of change. I also am extremely passionate about a lot of the issues that we work on with campaigns, and I have a lot of background knowledge in them, having been a research and communications officer with the UVSS. I think that there's a lot of opportunity to take those farther and to create a larger movement within a lot of those campaigns. Like, one of them that I'm really passionate about is the Needs-Based Grants campaign that we're running. As a low-income student, I totally understand the need there, and I think that creating accessible education is extremely important. Education should be a right, not a privilege.
And could you just expand a bit more about how being a research communications officer has taught you things that are going to be useful in this role?
It's really expanded my knowledge of the UVSS, which has taught me how little I knew about it as a student before getting the job. Like, really, I wouldn't know very much about it before working for them. I've had access to things like the applied suicide intervention training, the ASSIST training that we had on campus. So that was a really cool experience, as well as working really closely with different advocacy groups. So I got to help run Take Back the Night, which was against gender-based violence, and worked with the Memorial March for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, and a lot of other really important campaigns, running soup days yesterday. Like, I just get involved in things that I'm really passionate about, and that's encouraged me to do more work with the UVSS. Well, I think the main point on our entire Slates platform is student wellness. So we really want to create a safe, braver space for students at UVic. We want the campus to be a place where students can feel safe, they can feel included, and also where they have access to things that will support both their physical and mental wellness. And I think that comes into all points of our platform, like affordable housing, food security, environmental sustainability, and mental health. It's all combined into wellness, and that's what we stand for.
Cool. And what do you anticipate being some of the main obstacles to obtaining student wellness if you get the interim?
I think because the board has had a lack of engagement with students in the past, it will be difficult to obtain that engagement in the future, because right now there are a lot of passionate students on campus already doing great work, but they're not looking to the UVSS as a leader, because the UVSS hasn't often been that leadership role, and they haven't been able to access those resources. They don't know they exist. And I think getting those resources out there, engaging students, making them known that their student society does support them, that's going to be the toughest thing to combat.
And do you have any plans for how you're going to tackle that yet?
I really want to be out there. Like, I go out often and sign petitions out in the quad for needs-based grants, and I just think we all need to be out there. We need to be out there, like, working on campaigns that matter to students, letting them know, getting them involved, talking in classrooms, being a part of the student community and not just something that sits in the sub. I really wish that university in British Columbia, just in general, was affordable for all students. I think that our university is getting more and more inaccessible to low and middle income students, and things with like the 13% housing increase that UVic has just proposed, it's unacceptable. Students should be able to attend university, and there shouldn't be financial barriers, and those financial barriers also affect students' mental and physical wellness. They're working way too much. I mean, I work 30 hours a week and I'm a full-time student. That shouldn't have to be the norm, and that's something I really want to fight for. I can't speak so much to previous boards. This year we have about 2,000 signatures. We got a couple more at Soup Days. I haven't quite counted them. I don't think, the BC Liberal government really hasn't been supporting post-secondary education, as quite prominently said, but I do think that, like, our External Relations Director, Greg Atkinson, sat down with the Minister of Advanced Education yesterday, and they are planning a follow-up meeting on Thursday, so I don't know where that will go, but I'm hoping that it'll go towards creating some kind of work towards this grant system. We also are going to lobby days on February 23rd, so Monday, beginning of the campaign. So I think the outcome of that, we'll see how possible this needs-based grant system will be within that government. But I think that just because the government is being stubborn against us creating this system, there's precedent. Every other province in Canada has a system of needs-based grants. There's no reason that BC students shouldn't have access to the same funding. And we also have the highest student loan interest rates in the country, and we are generally graduating with more student loan debt than any other students in the country. So all of that combined, I think we really need to look at where our post-secondary funding is going.